You're suing the sun for your sunglasses. A truth factory dismantling of if God is all-powerful. Claim, if God is all-powerful, all-knowing and all-loving, the universe should reflect that. Core error. It treats the changing world as God's finished product. Change, conflict, decay and death are not the signature of perfect love. They are the weather of a dreaming mind. The world reflects thought, not God. I can be hurt by nothing but my thoughts. So the whole rant prosecutes the sun because clouds exist. Let's take it cloud by cloud. Cloud 1. God demands worship, praise, obedience. Cloud 1. That's neediness. Need implies lack. Love lacks nothing and needs nothing. What looks like demands is human religion projecting human insecurity onto the infinite. Real devotion isn't God collecting compliments. It's a mind relaxing into what always is. Love doesn't require applause. Alignment is for us, not for him. Cloud 2. Creating beings to validate himself isn't perfect. Agreed. Vanity isn't God. But the premise is smuggled in. That creation serves God's ego. It doesn't. True creation is extension of love, not recruitment for a fan club. If an idea of God is vain, throw out the idea, not God. Cloud 3. If he knows every choice, free will is fake. Knowing is not causing. Watching a recording doesn't force the player's moves. In timeless awareness, all choices are known, yet the chooser still chooses inside the film. Omniscience doesn't shove, it simply sees. Cloud 4. Heaven has freedom without evil, so evil isn't necessary. A loving God should have started with that world. That is heaven. The detour into a world of opposites is the nap, not the noun. Reality didn't begin as perfection, lose it and learn it back. Reality never changed. The dream started, not heaven. Waking doesn't create perfection, it recognizes it. Cloud 5. A loving God allowing endless suffering. Why? Because God doesn't author suffering. Pain is the interpretation layer the mind puts on neutral events. Suffering is meaning we add. That doesn't trivialize compassion. It clarifies causation. If the thermostat reads wrong, fix the sensor, not the sun. Again, I can be hurt by nothing but my thoughts. Cloud 6. If he created hell, mercy ends and agony never does. Eternal torture and eternal love cannot share a sentence. If the doctrine contradicts love, the doctrine is wrong. Hell is better understood as the experience of cherished guilt. Drop the guilt, the flames vanish. Love does not build a dungeon for its own child. Cloud 7. He included Satan. He built corruption into creation. Light doesn't manufacture darkness. Cover the lamp and a shadow appears. Satan is a story about forgetting, not a being God fabricated. Corruption is what love looks like when it's misread. Remove the cover, nothing needs fighting. Cloud 8. If God's plan is perfect, prayer shouldn't change it. Prayer changes the prayer. It shifts attention from fear to peace. God doesn't revise, we remember. Think of prayer less as lobbying the sky and more as tuning the dial from static to signal. Cloud 9. Tests of faith make little sense. Correct. Love doesn't set traps. Tests are stories people tell to make confusion sound noble. Love needs no proof and issues no pop quizzes. It simply is. Cloud 10. If he wanted humanity to believe, he wouldn't hide. Truth isn't hiding. Attention is busy. Vision is the issue, not visibility. Eyes don't quote-unquote see the seeing behind them, yet seeing is undeniable. Awareness is the evidence, self-evident because it is the self that knows. Cloud 11. When you actually look at the details, which you? The rant never inspects its observer. The one collecting exhibits is the very mind whose lens supplies the verdict. If the glasses are tinted, the world looks tinted. Clean the lens and the evidence rearranges itself. Cloud 12. If he can stop evil but doesn't, he's cruel. If he can't, he's weak. False dilemma. Love neither sponsors evil nor wrestles it. Turn on a light. Darkness is stopped without combat. The stronger power is non-opposition. Where love is recognized, the case for cruelty evaporates. Cloud 13. If prayer can influence him, his plan wasn't complete. What if the plan is that minds may choose peace at any moment? Then prayer fulfills the plan by accepting it. The river doesn't change its source when thirsty people drink. Cloud 14. If he wanted belief, he'd give direct evidence. What evidence would satisfy the senses that report only change? The finite can't measure the infinite with a ruler made of time. The direct evidence is the simple, quiet fact of being. Sit still. The argument loses its breath. The load-bearing false premise. Every cloud in the rant assumes this. The world of bodies is God's finished work. From there, the prosecutor demands that an unchanging love explain a changing movie. But if the movie is a dream, the correct question isn't, why did God write tragedy? It's, why is the audience pretending the screen is real? This is why lesson 281 of the course lands. I can be hurt by nothing but my thoughts. Not because bodies don't ache, but because the meaning that becomes suffering is added by the mind. The world mirrors that meaning back like a loud echo. Change the thought. The echo changes. Wake from the nightmare. The script stops mattering. And that line from What is the Holy Spirit seals it. Would you refuse to take the function of completing God when all he wills is that you be complete? The function isn't to fix a universe God supposedly messed up. It's to remember wholeness so clearly that the world's contradictions lose authority. Verdict. The structure collapses where it began. God is not a needy monarch, not a cosmic micromanager, not a jealous landlord, and certainly not the author of pain. God is changeless love. The universe being cross-examined is the newsfeed of a restless mind, not the blueprint of reality. When the premise shifts, from this world proves God to this world reflects thought, every charge loses its teeth. Step out of the courtroom and into quiet. Let the prosecution rest. Then notice what remains without argument. Awareness, peace, presence. That is the direct evidence. That is the answer that doesn't need words. Picture, if you will, a courtroom in the clouds. The judge is light itself. The prosecutor stands below, waving his papers at the sun, demanding explanations for shadows he made himself. Each argument, each exhibit, each accusation, all filed in triplicate by a restless mind on trial for its own reflection. And when the verdict comes down, it isn't thunder. It's silence. Because the only thing ever found guilty was misunderstanding. Case dismissed in the eternal jurisdiction of the Twilight Zone.